If you're looking to make solar simple, give Ron Domenico with AD Energy a call. All-day energy made simple. Solar solutions with zero down, options to lease or finance, and roofs and trees are no issue. Call Ron Domenico at 609-226-2802 and tell him you saw him on the Sports Box.
Well, hello again, and welcome to the show that's been proven to be better than a Viking. This is the Sports Box, for the only thing that matters is right here. Malfunction. I am Mike Aletta, a.k.a. Have Mike, along with my partner Brian, the Rangers. Brian, you knew one day it was going to happen.
I mean, yeah. I've asked you really not to hit me with anything. My iPad. Come on. Listen here now.
There's no blood, so everybody's good. Today we're going to talk about
only a 2-minute penalty, not 4, because blood wasn't drawn.
That's right. 1 to 4-minute penalty. Everybody's good.
Jeez.
Today we're going to talk about the New York Rangers.
Okay.
And we got to.
I'll wait. All right, here we go.
Yeah, there we go. Let's talk about the deal, Brian, or not deal. Let's talk about the situation going on with Marc Staal and Dan Girardi.
2 of my favorite people.
That's right. Not being asked to waive their no movement clauses for the expansion draft that's coming up in the next couple weeks. What's going on here?
Well, you know, I think a lot of fans might get speculated that might happen, but I think that those fans, frankly, don't know a lot about the way the salary cap works and more about how the way the expansion draft works.
I did know about the Marc Staal. I didn't know about Girardi.
I'm going to do a little bit of education here for the fans out there about this expansion draft. So, you're going to ask yourselves, well, why wouldn't the Rangers ask Marc Staal and Dan Girardi, 2 players they very likely want to remove from the roster if any means necessary, to be exposed for the expansion draft? Now, the way this draft is going to work is every team can protect 7 forwards, 3 defensemen, and 1 goaltender of their eligible players. And first and foremost, Brady Shea, not eligible. He's a protected, no worries there. So for the Rangers, you talk about 3 guys on defense that they would have to protect. One is obviously Ryan McDonough. No think I need to elaborate on that. So there's 2 more spots. So if you're going to ask Staal or Girardi to waive that no movement clause to expose them to Vegas, knowing they're probably not going to get taken, you're going to have a defenseman that you would rather protect.
Right, they're big ticket guys.
They are big ticket guys, but what I'm saying is, once you've kind of asked them to waive it, like you get like 1 shot at that, like to really get them.
Yeah.
Do you really want to protect Nick Holden? No. Kevin Klein? No. So it's not, and he's like retiring from what we hear, maybe going over to Europe. So the question, so you know, the angst in Rangerstown, sure, as to why they weren't asked to waive their no movement clause, I think is frankly seated in a misunderstanding as to how this actually works. So I am not surprised at all, and Vegas was never going to take one of these guys, especially when you will expect the Rangers to unfortunately have to expose Michael Grabner had a great season, Oscar Lindbergh young up and coming forward, Jesper Fast, Antti Ranta's the hot name that they might look at, and obviously Nick Holden and maybe Kevin Klein.
Well, I think expansion drafts too, that they're going to take your younger guys. They're not going to take older guys as big ticket items.
Well, to a point. I think, so, and we're going to get into this as we look at the expansion draft in the coming days as these rosters kind of get released, who's going to be available. But I think from the Vegas standpoint, Mike, you're going to see them take a lot of players who have some trade value that they might actually keep.
Or some veterans, yeah.
Yeah, but they got to get to the cap floor anyway, too.
Correct.
So, you know, I am not surprised whatsoever that Girardi and Staal were not asked to waive. I didn't think you had to do it because there's nobody there to protect in their place, so who cares?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. No, the first, we're talking about Rangers, and I agree with you too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, you may want to wonder, you know, will we see them on the roster?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, do you think you'll see them next year on the roster?
I think they find a way, one way or another, to get rid of one, if not both.
I was going to say 1 of 2, I think.
I think 1.
I think it's going to be Girardi.
So Girardi is the easier buyout. Now, contract buyouts suck, okay?
Yeah.
There's no way around this. I mean, to get rid of a player who's making that much money for that remaining term, it sucks. It's going to be punitive. However, so the Rangers right now are paying Girardi $5.5 million a year.
For the next 3 years.
$5.5 million a year for the next 3 seasons.
Yeah.
You kind of got to look at it like a replacement value, right? So if they buy him out, next year, I'm going to round this. It's going to cost them 2.6 against the cap. In 19 and 20, it's going to cost them 3.6 against the cap. And then 1.1 for 3 years after that.
So you got to look to either get rid of him now or
So but the question then becomes, is it worth it? Now, I'm going to say that it is, and here's why. If you bring in a replacement for him, the Rangers have signed in recent weeks Neil Pionk out of college, Alexei Bereglazov out of the KHL. These are guys who are not going to cost you that much money to put out there. So let's just say Girardi cost you 2.6 in that buyout cap hit next year, and the guy you're replacing him with, let's just say Barrett Glazov, cost you around about $1 million. So your expenditure, all in, is 3.6. That's still less than 5.5, and Girardi's on the ice, which is a positive, right? So, to me, I think you have to look at it that way. Do I want to pay 1.1 against the cap for 3 years after he's gone? No, I don't. But that's the reality of it. Glenn Sather got you in a situation.
Yep.
If you're just going to let, Staal and Girardi out there costing you well over $10 million next year, so come on. In the twilight of Lundqvist's career, you may as well blow the whole damn thing up.
I think
because it doesn't make any sense.
I think with Staal being 30, though, you might have some trade value for him. I know he's a big ticket, but you might be able to get something for him at that 30 age, and you're not going to get anything for Girardi at 33 with his number.
It's crazy. I agree with you. Girardi, it makes the more sense of a buyout. Staal, I think, would be interesting if the Rangers decide to eat half that contract.
That would be an option too.
So it's 5.7. Right? So you're talking less than $3 million a year for the next 4. Again, is it an ideal scenario?
No.
No, it's not. It absolutely sucks.
Yeah.
But if you look at it compared to the buyout, it's not that dissimilar. So if you can find a team who would be, take him on as a fifth defenseman at half that contract, I think that's plausible. And there's teams out there that probably would do that. Again, Marc Staal at 5.7, no bueno. Marc Staal at half of that, now you can at least deal with it. So. Do I think that? I think one for sure is gone.
I think one.
They cannot go in the next season, and we're going to go over the Rangers off-season outlook in a couple of days here too. Both ideally, one for sure. I think I can't imagine going into the season with both the roster.
We will see. It's going to be interesting. We have a lot of off-season stuff for the NHL coming up, so. Keep an eye out for us, though. You got to remember, we're always on social media if you need a fix.
Listen, we're breaking news on left, right, and center, so make sure on Twitter and Facebook you're following us at Sportsbox Show, and of course our great YouTube channel. Make sure you're joining the ever-growing list of subscribers to get all of our wonderful content just as soon as late at night when I decide to post it.
When you subscribe, hit that bell right in the corner there. You'll get some alerts and get fresh content right away for us. So remember, at the Sportsbox, the only opinion that matters is still right here. Thanks for watching, folks. See you.
This episode of the Sports Box is brought to you by Mic'd Up Entertainment and DJ Mike Velardi. For all of your event planning needs, make sure you contact Mike at 609-864-5925 and tell him that you saw him on the Sports Box.
1, 2, 3.
Don't forget to subscribe.